Vijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Yasodanandana Jamuna Tira Manachari Jamuna Tira Manachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jabihari Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasari Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Vrindavana Dham Jaya Lalita Visakha Jaya Radhe Shyam Lalita Visakha Jaya Radhe Shyam Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Srila Gurudev नित्यलीला प्रविष्ट जयं विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतः श्री श्रीमद् एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी जगद्गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव भक्तवृंद की जय नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय जय श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ षडगोस्वामी प्रभुगण की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री भासदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिराज गोवर्धन की जय श्री श्री वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की जय जय श्री श्री नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय जय श्री श्री पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय जय श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय जय श्री श्री द्वारका धाम की जय जय श्री श्री अयोध्या धाम की जय जय श्री श्री बद्रिका धाम की जय जय श्री श्री कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदायिनी बुंदा देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय जय श्री श्री भक्ति देवी की जय जय श्री श्री गंगा मैया की जय जय श्री श्री जमुना मैया की जय जय श्री श्री जुग धर्म श्री श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय श्री श्री संकीर्तन महायज्ञ की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद ट्रांसीडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय जय श्री श्री गौरनिताय कृष्ण वल्लभ राधा श्याम सुंदर ललिता विशाखा देवी की जय ग्रंथराज भगवद गीता की जय All goes to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All goes to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All goes to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All goes to Sri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayesu Abhadresu नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. Hare Krishna. So on this very auspicious day of disappearance day of one of our very important acharya in our sampradaya, Gaudiya Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, Madhvacharya. So on his disappearance day, I am first of all seeking the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, and those who are hearing online. Please kindly bless me and bestow your causeless mercy so that I can speak on these words which has been allotted to me on this particular day. And so now we are in the chapter number 18th of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, entitled Perfection of Renunciation. So in this, I have been asked to discuss on this today in the verse number 5, 18.5. Is there in the board? Yes. So kindly hear attentively. It's a very interesting verse. Every verse is interesting, Bhagavad Gita. It is transcendental. All are special. And you have heard 4 verses till yesterday. So kindly repeat after me. Jagya dana tapaha karma na tyajyam karyam evatat. Jagya danam tapaschaiva pavanani manishinaha. Jagya dana tapaha karma na tyajyam karyam evatat. Jagyo danam tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam. Jagyo dana tapaha karma na tyajyam karyam evatat. Jagyo danam taposchaiva pavanani manishinam. Kindly repeat. Jagyadana tapa karma na tyajyam karyamevatat. Jagyodana tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam. Anyway, so I will, Hare Krishna, I will repeat, now I will read the word by word meaning. Jagya of sacrifice, dana charity, tapaha and penance, karma activity, na never, tyajyam to be given up, karyam must be done, eva certainly, tat that, jagyaha sacrifice, danam charity, tapaha penance, cha also, eva certainly, pavanani purifying, manishinam even of the great souls. The translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki acts of sacrifice, charity and penance are not to be given up. They must be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity and penance purify even the great souls. Kindly repeat. Acts of sacrifice, charity and penance are not to be given up. They must be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity and penance purify even the great souls. Purport. The yogis should perform acts for the advancement of human society. There are many purificatory processes for advancing a human being to spiritual life. The marriage ceremony, for example, is considered to be one of these sacrifices. It is called Vivaha Jagya. Should a sannyasi who is in renounced order of life and who has given up his family relations encourage the marriage ceremony? The Lord says here that any sacrifice which is meant for human welfare should never be given up. Vivajagya, the marriage ceremony, is meant to regulate the human mind so that it may become peaceful for spiritual advancement. For most men, the Vivajagya should be encouraged, even by persons in the renounced order of life. Sannyasis should never associate with women, but that does not mean that one who is in the lower stages of life, a young man, should not accept a wife in the marriage ceremony. All prescribed sacrifices are meant for achieving the Supreme Lord. Therefore, in the lower stages, they should not be given up. Similarly, charity is for the purification of the heart. If charity is given to suitable persons, as described previously, it leads one to advance spiritual life. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshirunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaiham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Utapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagradatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Jayatam Suratopangur Mahamanda Matargate Matsarvasya Padam Bhujo Radha Madana Mohono तप्त कंचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितनं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम पदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतसि नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीभासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदिनतारिणं श्रीपरमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम् Hare Krishna. So, today's verse is Jagya Dana Tapah Karma Na Tyajyam Karyam Evatat Jagyo Dana Tapaschaiva Pavanani Manisinam. So here, earlier you have been hearing on this chapter 18th that already Krishna, you see, what is all the theme, the main theme which Krishna has been telling since last 17 chapters. What Krishna is telling? Bhakti Yoga is the ultimate goal of human life. Isn't it? How to achieve it? What is the means? By surrendering. So in this chapter, in the 18th chapter, entitled The Perfection of Renunciation, Krishna, he is describing how to achieve that goal. How this Bhakti Yoga, so many power cuts. So here, in this earlier verses, Krishna told Arjuna that there are already two opinions. In the first verse itself, Arjuna is asking, tell me what is the difference between sannyas and tyaga. That means renounced order of life and renunciation. Looks very close, na? They look similar, but there is a difference. Sannyas means what? No kartapan, no bhaktapan. I am not the doer, I am not the enjoyer. That is sannyas, right? But here we see there is another way of telling that. So here Arjuna, when he asked Krishna said that is one and the same. There is no difference much. But actually there is no controversy about sannyas. Sannyas means give up all karma. Just like our sannyasi. They don't have to cook. They don't have to, clean their dresses. The assistants will do all these things. So they have to only preach, read the scriptures and tell the philosophy to others, right? So similarly, here Krishna is telling there is a controversy. What is tyaga? What is renunciation? Already there are two schools of thoughts. You have heard, those who are regularly hearing, in the previous verses, verse number 2 and 3, Krishna is telling there are so many sages, there are so many philosophers, there are so many munis, there are so many people who have given different opinions about what is tyaga. So there are two schools of thoughts. One is the very famous Devahuti Putra, who is the Kapila Muni. Another is Jaimini Rishi, who is the author of Mahabharata. They have given two different opinions. What are they? The followers of Kapila, they say, renounce the entire work, don't have to do anything, because there is a fear, there is a risk of committing a offense or committing a violence. There may be a violence by committing certain actions. So that's why they say don't have to do any. So then the other category, they say, this is the opinion of Kapila. But the Jaimini followers, they say, no. You don't have to give up anything. See, there are two types of karma. One is kamya karma, where we have some personal desire. We do something, we expect something, right? I have done some help. I'll expect if I am in trouble, you will help me. That is called kamya karma. Whereas the other aspect, it is called niskam karma, or that is the nitya karma, which we do. Of course, for body, we have to brush our teeth, take bath, evacuate bath, and then dress up. All this bodily, for take food. And for the soul, what do you do? The morning program. Mangalarti, then Nrsimha-arti, all these Tulsi Arti, Japa, all these things are for the soul. So this is called Nitya Karma. And the other one is called Kamya Karma. Or the Nitya Karma, there is no expectation. We have to do it. It's a matter of duty, because it has been described by the scriptures. And Guru has ordered us to do that. So we will do it. So it is out of duty. Whereas here in the section number 4, 5 and 6, these 6 verses, Krishna is telling Arjuna, you have heard already what are the different opinions of different people. Now I am telling, I am the highest authority. Who is the best authority? Krishna is the highest authority. Isn't it? He is saying, I am asamurdha. Nobody is superior to me. Nanyat, what is that? In the 10th chapter, Krishna says, there is nobody, nothing other than me. I am everything. Right? So like that, Krishna is telling, who can dissipate our doubts better than Krishna? Who is the authority of knowledge? Krishna. Aham sarvasya Prabhu. Everything comes from Krishna. All the knowledge, everything comes from Krishna in the form of Vedas. Right? So, he is the person who can explain in such a way all our doubts can be eradicated. Nobody is better than Krishna. That is what he is telling. Arjuna, you have already heard about others. Now you hear what is my opinion. So in the last class, you have heard in the 4th verse that there are different kinds of people. Some people are in mode of goodness, some are passion, some are in ignorance. So depending on the different modes, the views are different. Their consciousness is different. So that's why the kind of renunciation they do, that also varies, which Krishna is going to explain in the subsequent verses. From verse 1 to 12, this is the entire section where Krishna is going to describe what is tyaga, what are the different types of tyaga. So mode of goodness, they do out of duty. I have to do it because it is mentioned in the scriptures, and they don't have any material desires, or they don't have any expectation, I am doing what I will get. No. Those who are in passion, they have some expectation. Those who are in goodness, they just do out of duty, out of their, it has to be done, it must be done. That is their understanding. And they don't think they are the doer. It will come in the next verse, in the 14th verse, there are three kinds of doers. One, the soul, he desires, and the material nature, it gives the ingredients. Suppose you want to do some work, you need some instrument for that. So what is that instrument? It is material nature. And one person has to sanction, Daivam. There are 5 factors, it will come in the next verses. Unless Krishna sanctions, suppose you open a hospital, you made the building, you put all the equipments, you recruited the staffs, doctors, nurses, all these, people, paramedical staffs. But then you don't get a government sanction. Can you run the hospital? No. Hospital cannot start, or a factory, whatever example. So that is why who is the main doer is the Daivam. That means Krishna. Paramatma is the doer. Without his sanction, we cannot move our hand, we cannot breathe, we cannot talk. We are so much conditioned, so much dependent on Paramatma. But we are so proud. This is our ignorance. And then there is always a tendency to get attached those who are auspicious, which we like, our senses get some pleasure. We have attachment for those. And those who are impious for us, we hate. Ichha, Dvesa. These are the two causes where the Jivatma, he is conditioned. He is in bondage because of Ichha and Dvesa. He likes certain things, we dislike certain things. We have to go beyond that. That is mode of goodness. So that means they are not attached to any favorable things, or that they do not hate any inauspicious things. Auspicious, inauspicious. They are beyond that. And they think, I am not the doer, Krishna is the doer. Right? So this is the understanding of a Tyagi, who is in mode of goodness. And he never thinks, oh, it is impossible. He knows it is impossible to give up work. Can any of us give up work? No, because soul is active. Soul cannot remain like static. Can our mind remain steady? It always keeps on thinking. Continuous thought process. Even during sleep, we see dreams, right? So similarly, a person in good mode of goodness, he never thinks that, oh, I can give up the work. No. He knows we have to work. That is the difference. And those who in mode of passion, they have some expectation. They feel, oh, it is troublesome. If I do this, something may happen. I cannot do this. He is always in a very fearful situation. So, out of fear or out of troublesome nature, he always avoids certain activities. That is mode of, that means he does a renunciation, but that is mode of passion. But ignorance is just opposite of goodness. They don't have any knowledge. The things which should be given up, they will do that. And those things should not be given up, they will give up. Just opposite. So like that, Krishna is telling to Arjuna, see, in the beginning Krishna says, renounce the fruits of action. Fruits means the result of the action. Don't renounce the work. This is the fundamental principle. You understanding? We are doing some karma and some results are coming. We are not the enjoyer. Who is the enjoyer? Krishna is the enjoyer. This is the fundamental understanding of a sannyasi. He is thinking everybody, this entire thing is Krishna's creation. It is meant for Krishna's enjoyment. Why I should enjoy? Or any work he does, I am not the doer, Krishna is the doer. Let him enjoy the result of its action. Right? It's very clear. I am making it more simplified. But just like we see the grahasthas, many of us are in grahastha life. So we see the grahastha, he is also working out of duty. So he is working in dutifully, out of duty, but in a detached manner. He is not attached to the children, his wife, his relatives, because he thinks, Manasa deha gaha jo kuch mar arpila tuapade nanda kishan. Hey Krishna, all are yours. Because of their karma, they have come to me, and we are, for some time we are staying, just like in a flood, the things get gathered and again they separate. Or in hotels, many people come, they eat their meal, then they go away. Or in trains and buses, we make friendship with her. We travel in train one day, we make so many friendships. In the end of, they get down their way, we go down. It is like that. But we are so much enamored by the illusory energy, we think, this is my papa, mummy, all these things, we are bound in this way. So that is what Krishna is saying, that is true renunciation. Dutiful, unattached or detached work, that is called true renunciation. But do not renounce the work. Right? So Krishna is so now Krishna is saying in this verse, these three things you should not give up. You see the verse, Jagya, Dana, Tapaha. These are the three karmas. Jagya means sacrifice, Dana means charity, and Tapa means tapasya. So, all this austerity. These things you should not. Why? The last line says, Pavanani Manishinam. Manishinam means those who are in mode of goodness. Manishi, Munis, just like Narad Muni, all Vyasdev, they are already in mode of pure goodness. Otherwise they cannot write scriptures. Or they cannot see the Leela of Lord. We are sometimes in goodness, mostly in passion ignorance. So this is the difference. Pavanani means that delivers, that purifies. Okay. So that is the, here Krishna is telling. So there are two types of activities. As I said, one is Kamya karma. Kamya means some desire is there. I am doing some. I have some personal desire. I'll get some good money. I'll make a big building. I'll get some good son. That is why they do all these punya karmas. Even in devotion also, people come into the temple, then ask the Lord for some material benefits. That is not correct. They are called Sakama Bhaktas. So here Krishna is telling, if they have some desire for wealth or a good son or some material benefit, that is called Kamya Karma. So mostly they are karmis. Whereas there are Nitya Karma, as I said, morning program Prabhupada is giving, evening program, 24 hours program Prabhupada is giving. That is for the soul. That has no expectation. That is for ultimate liberation. So a sannyasi, he gives up the Kamya Karma. He has no personal desire, but he cannot give up the Nitya Karma. That means sannyasi has to come for Mangalarti also. He cannot say, oh, I am sitting at home, oh, Krishna is there, anyway, I will just remember Krishna. No, that is not allowed. Sannyasi has to do certain minimum things. Even though he has renounced the work, that is Kamya Karma, he cannot give up the Nitya Karma. But Tyaga, here Krishna is telling, do your Nitya Karma. Krishna is not telling to give up. Krishna is saying, do your Nitya Karma, do your Kamya Karma also. Because, why is he saying Kamya Karma? Because many of us, of course, we are practicing devotional service, still we have material desire, still we have personal ambition. That is why Krishna is telling for most of us who fall in this category. He is telling, not that everybody can give up this Kamya Karma. Most of us have some desire. So better do it, but the result you give to me. Got my point? Very simple. He made it very simplified. Do any karma you want. Because see, in the past life, so many life after life, we have done so many sins. All these samskaras, they are imprinted in our heart in form of svabhava. Svabhava means nature. We have acquired. Some people, they are very passionate. Or some people, they are very santa. They are in goodness. Why? In the previous life, they have practiced. They were in that mode. That's why they are behaving like this. Got my point? This 17.1 Krishna is telling. Arjuna asked, then Krishna answers this previous chapter. So, but one thing Krishna says, you cannot give Jagya Dana Tapa because it is even purifying for the Manishina. Those who are already in goodness, they are already pure. See, the purity doesn't mean it has an ending. Krishna says, Prabhupada says, there is no end to our perfection. Go on. There is no end. So we can't say, oh, enough, I have done enough chanting. From tomorrow onwards, no more chanting. Is it acceptable? We cannot say. Purification has to, because again recontamination happens. So you have to go on. So this is the gateway of liberation. Purification means liberation. And also, we will get the transcendental knowledge. By doing all these things, Jagya, Dana and Tapa, we will get the knowledge about Lord, Krishna, which is the goal of our life. So earlier in this chapter, two things have been, as I said, two types of tyagas or renunciation are discussed. There is Kamya Karma, as I said. So Lord Kapila and Jaimini. So why Krishna is telling? Because the Vedas they describe. Krishna is saying, I am the highest authority. Follow me. Indirectly Krishna is telling to Arjuna. So even if there is a risk of violence, even if by doing your karma, you feel there is a violence, like Arjuna has to fight. He has to kill so many people. It's a great violence. But still Krishna is telling, do it. Why? He is telling, because these three things you cannot give up. It will win. Even if you do fight for me, you will get purified. What happened to those who died in front of Krishna? They got liberated. Everybody. What to speak of Arjuna? Everybody got liberated. So similarly, so in the previous verse, we have seen that the three kinds of renunciation, as I already described. And now, Krishna is telling, Nishchaya mam srunu. Nishchaya means it is no doubt about it. What I am saying, it is the final thing. It is my final opinion. People have said like that, you have heard from people, but I am saying, don't do this, do this. Means, do your karma and give the result to me. That is what Krishna is telling. So now, we see karma, there are three types of people. Some people, they work for the benefit of others and for their benefit. They are good. But better than them, people are there who, even they suffer, they don't bother, but they work for others. They are in mode of goodness. And the other category, there are people who only selfish. They want for their own benefit, don't think about others. They are passionate. And ignorance means they work in such a way, they themselves are troubled and they trouble others. Many of us we see. So there are three or four kinds you can see. So the one who at the cost of their inconvenience, they help others, they are called sadhus. They are called pure devotees. They are called yogis. Right? Why they do that? Karma, it is troublesome, but they do it for the spiritual upliftment, just like a spiritual master. Many times he has to undergo so many sufferings for the disciples' vikarma. They break some rules, they don't chant properly. The spiritual master has to take 1/6 of their karma, isn't it? So that is there just for the spiritual advancement of others. So just like the example here in the purport, Prabhupada he was a sannyasi. He was severely criticized. You are a sannyasi. You have given up your wife. And how can you do Stri Sangha? Of course, Prabhupada never attended any marriage. He was conducting disciples, among disciples. You are getting them married. Like Sam Sundar Prabhu and Malti Mataji, he sent to London. So many examples Prabhupada did. But he was very severely criticized. Then Prabhupada answers. Then the purport Prabhupada writes, why? Because most of the foreigners, they are already accustomed, they are doomed, already their mentality was totally in a sinful life. They cannot give up that enjoyment, man, woman. No. So Prabhupada said, but it's the best use of the bad bargain. If you don't allow them to marry, they will do adultery and they will commit illicit sex life and they will go to hell. So better let them get married, mentally let them be peaceful, just like many of our brahmacharis. While they were in ashram, they were very reluctant. Their mind was mentally always disturbed. The moment they are allowed to enter grahastha life, they become very peaceful. And they do wonderful service, which they have never used to do before. So these are the practical, guru, he sees the practical situation. Depending on the swabhava, nature of the disciple, he engages in particular service. Suppose somebody doesn't know how to read scriptures, the spiritual master cannot say give classes. He will say better go and do some manual work and go to the counter or do some book distribution, some other service he will give. Right? So like that, see there are two types of vairagya. One is Phalgu vairagya, one is Yukta vairagya. Prabhupada took that Yukta vairagya. Everything in the creation is Krishna's. So everything should be used for Krishna's service. Anasakta sa visayan jatharaham upajanjate. What is that next two lines? Nirbandhe Krishna sambandhe yukta vairagyam uchyate. Everything has a connection with Krishna. Single thing, a microphone, this mobile phone, or whatever is there. This camera, everything. So you should use for Krishna's service. Very simple, Rupa Goswami says. But whereas those who are, dry renunciants, they are in Brahmaji, in 10th canto, 14th chapter, in the 4th verse, he gives a very nice example. He says, if you beat the empty husk of the wheat, what will you get? The wheat is already out. They are empty. You will not get anything. Similarly, if you just give up this world, give up everything without understanding the relation of that thing with Krishna, then it is Phalgu Vairagya. It's dry renunciation. That is what Prabhupada is telling. I did all these marriage ceremonies for uplift my spiritual, disciples' spiritual sentiment, for their spiritual upliftment. And they become very pure devotees, not necessarily grahasthas. Grahasthas are also pure devotees, so many. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, you see thousands and pure devotees who are there. They are all Paramahamsas, isn't it? And in the Dwadas Mahajans, 7 are grahasthas. Shivji, Prahlad Maharaj, Bali Maharaj, so many. Brahmaji, all this. So like that, say Yukta Vairagya means we don't use anything for our own service. We use everything for Krishna's service. Clear? First line. Second is, in case we get some money, what Prabhupada did? He printed books, he built temples, he used for preaching. So nothing is denying. Even the countries, some countries, they got some money, they make weapons to maintain peace and prosperity of the country, for the war. That is also good for that country, isn't it? So similarly, of course, it should be Dharma Juddha. Nowadays, this is nothing dharma juddha. They are adharma juddha. That is not recommended. So what is Krishna is telling? Do not give up the eagerness, utshaha. That is most important. In our sadhaka, as a sadhaka, we practice sadhana bhakti. Many times we feel many of us, it happens very frequently, all of us. Sometimes we get very morose. Oh, we don't have desire to chant, to hear, you get very depressed, isn't it? So there, Krishna is telling, do not be depressed. Why? What is the point of depression? Okay, you have done some offense. Doesn't matter. Any amount of sin you have done, I can eradicate within a fraction of a second. You know, in Mahabharata it is described, Lord Yudhishthira Maharaja is taking rest, and Bhim, he was standing as a gatekeeper, and different peoples, they came. One black person came. He said, there was a big mountain and one sadhu was going, and that mountain was actually kept. Actually, it's just some rocks were put on the way, and it was blocking the passage. That sadhu, he came, he just, sannyasi, sadhu means sannyasi, he just revolved his sannyas dand, and all this was pulverized. So what does this mean? The mountains like sins can be eradicated by the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That is so many examples are there. I am not going to details, time is short. So like that, he says, but you have to be careful about the offenses. Just like you see the moon, from full moon day, gradually it becomes, and the Amavasya, it becomes totally disabled. So similarly, by offense, our eagerness, our utsha, our enthusiasm to perform tapasya will gradually reduce. The quality of chanting will gradually reduce. So you have to be very careful about the offenses. So that is what Krishna is telling. Do not give up the utsha. Like, we have to be very determined, like Rukmini Devi. She wrote a letter. Even it takes hundreds of lifetimes I have to take birth, I will only marry Krishna, nobody else. You have heard about Chataka Bard? Chataka Bard, like now it's raining. So unless the rain water comes, it will never drink. There's a beautiful story. Once it was described by Venudhar Prabhu. It is described by Rupa Goswami in one of his Padyavalis and other. So here one time on Chataka Bard, he was flying high in the sky, and there was no sign of rain. He was very thirsty. And it happened that the bird exactly fell on the Ganges river. He's floating on the Ganges river. It seems he drowned in the Ganges, but he never drank the water. That was the promise. It seems then while drowning also he is struggling. His life here is about to go away. So he is still opening the mouth like open the one raindrop will come. Nothing happened. He died. And again he took a rebirth. So it's like it is comparing the love of gopis for Krishna. It is so specific. Similarly, the utsha has to be like this, determination. And Dhruva Maharaj, he did a lot of penance. He was determined. Even he left even water, even life air also he stopped breathing also, isn't it? Then he could see face to face Krishna right here in Madhuban, right? So similarly, we see the enthusiasm one should not give up. So there are different types of sacrifices. As you see Yajna, the sacrifices varies from different ashramas. For karma yogis, the sacrifices, they worship the demigods. And for the jnana yogis, they worship the Brahman, Brahma Jyoti. And for brahmacharis, they control the mind. And for grahasthas, they control their senses. The different ashramas, different varnas, the austerity, the yajna is different, the sacrifice is different. Similarly for Patanjali yogis, they control the life air, the 10 kinds of life air, 5 major, 5 minor. And for, what do you call that, pranayama, they control the breathing air, control the breath. And for dravya yajna, you know, giving charity. What is the best charity we can give? Give the holy name, give the Gita Gyan. You people are hearing, you are doing Yajna. Hearing Gita class means you are doing Jnana Yajna. You are chanting Hare Krishna Japa Yajna. You are doing Sankirtan, that is also Nama Yajna. All are Yajnas, isn't it? Or distributing books, that is the biggest Yajna. The topmost sacrifices, Bhakti-Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur study is Bruhat Mridanga. It can spread thousands and millions of miles. What are this Sankirtan, Murdang, Kirtan Mandali at the most few kilometers, or a half kilometer, 1 kilometer, not more than that. That's why book distribution is so important. Jayanand Prabhu, he gave $5,000, whatever he accumulated in entire life, to Prabhupada. And he went back to Godhead. The Jagannath Rath Yatra he arranged. And Judge Harishan, he gave 55 lakhs worth those days, a full house to Srila Prabhupada, and gave for Krishna book publication. So many devotees, they have dedicated their life for Prabhupada. Isn't it? So that kind of yajna we should. And dana also, this is dana actually. So, and yajna, as I said, book distribution and all. Then tapasya. For us in winter season, Mangalarti is a very big austerity. To come, get up and get ready for Mangalarti, but we have to do it. Like now, Magha month is going on. So the Magha Saptami, day for yesterday. Today is Navami, day for yesterday. So it is a big Jamuna river, Ganga river. People come and they take, in the Prayagraj, they took bath in the Jamuna. Ganga Jamuna, Triveni Sangam. So these are the unfastings, all Ekadashis, all this we do. For regulative principle itself is a big austerity. So that is tapasya. So these are Divya tapasya. These things we do for the satisfaction of the Lord. Tapasya. And then Yoga Yajna, then Ashtanga Yogis, they do. So then, why they do all these things? But the ultimate thing, by doing all these sacrifices, Yajnas, what will they get? Now we will get Divya Gyan. We'll get transcendental knowledge about the Krishna, Lord. Of course, the spiritual master is required. He gives Tad Vidhi Pranipatena Paripasnana Sevaya Upadesyanti Jnanam Jnanas Tattvadarshina. So Guru gives Divya Gyan, Hruday Prakashita. We sing in Guru Puja. Without Guru, we cannot learn anything. Then what? Ultimately, this Jnana, it culminates in Bhakti, Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada says, so many places. So because, what is the goal? By doing all these things, what is purification? Purification means, Pavanani. Pavanani means get purified. Purified means we will be free from illusion. We can see things as it is. We have very clear vision. Our angle of vision we can see we are this, not this body, we are the spirit soul. That vision, or Paramatma level. So then sinful desires will get destroyed. There is no tendency to commit sins. See, what is the important thing? Then only bhakti will start. As long as we are sinning, bhakti cannot start. No. And then all karmic reaction will get burned by this three process. That is why Krishna is telling, do not give up these three process. It is compulsory, it is mandatory, you have to do it. So like that. So why one should not give up? So the reason, as I said, in so many lifetimes we have, even Kamya Karma, means we have some desire, but we should not give up. Why? Because Krishna is telling, because so many impressions are there in our heart. It's very difficult to immediately give up. So Krishna is telling, even if you cannot give up the sinful desires or sinful acts, please do it out of force you are doing, like Arjuna asked, why out of compulsion we are doing sinful acts, even though we don't desire. Krishna is lust. 3rd chapter, verse number 36 to 43, Krishna is telling, because of lusty desire, we are forced to commit, we sometimes break the rules. Why? Because of the lust. So then Krishna is telling, okay, even if you are lusty, work for me, give the result to me. Then you will get purified. Got my point? So the same thing, that is called Bhagavad Dharma. That is called Bhagavata Dharma. Suppose you are taking prasadam, that is also Bhagavad Dharma. Honoring prasadam, we get purified. It's not an ordinary thing. Only our consciousness we should take, it is Param Brahma, it is not different from Krishna. While honoring, we should honor, we should not eat. So, the same thing Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 12th chapter. He says, if you cannot fix your mind and intelligence, then follow all the regulative principles, the morning program and all. If you cannot do that, work for me. If you cannot work for me, then he says, at least, suppose there is some family member, they don't allow us to become a full-time devotee in temple. They force us to stay at home. Then whatever results we are getting, the karmic, we give it for the good cause to others, so that mind become peaceful. And the last thing he is telling, if you cannot do that also, you give up the result of your work. Karma tyaga, karma phala tyaga. Still you cannot do that, attend Gita classes, do meditation, japa meditation. So that is the minimum thing we are doing. Of course, we also fix our mind and intelligence in Krishna. That is there. So we see many times this new devotees, like Prabhuji is sitting. Many of the new devotees, what they do, I have seen one brahmachari was there. He is no more here. So he used to read all the higher books by like Jayadev Goswami, Geet Govinda, and Krishnadas Kaviraj Govinda Lilamurta, all these things which are not recommended in the initial days. We are not have the adhikar to read those books. Then he got mad. We have to admit him KD medical. He got totally, and he came and he was very erratic, and we have to send him back to his home. So these are the things. That is why like the new devotees, they are encouraged to work hard. That is what Krishna is telling. Don't try to show your smartness. I can understand all philosophy, acharyas, commentaries. No. Work. That is why Prabhupada says 8 hours service, 6 to 8 hours. Then other things, and then it will work. We have seen Kadam Kanan Maharaj, why he was here, a temple president. He was president before that. He was managing the Govinda restaurant. Very difficult those days. And he has to do hard work. And Chaitanya Charitamrita Maharaj didn't know anything. The moment he started reading, he could understand everything about Chaitanya Charitamrita. It is just revealed into his heart. That is why Krishna says in the earlier chapters, chapter 3, 4, 5, and this Bhagavad Gita, Niskam Karma, you just do work for me, your heart will get pure. Your heart will get purified. Then you can understand this philosophy. Don't directly jump to the philosophy. So that is what Krishna is telling here. And so Prabhupada, as I said, he engaged his disciples in the marriage ceremony. Elaborately Prabhupada writes in the purport. He was severely criticized for this, but he didn't care. He says, once their mind is get stabilized, they can do nice bhajan, they can do nice seva, then they will go back to God. And they went, so many devotees, they went back to God. So it all depends on the nature. Similarly for brahmacharis, it is recommended, like Prabhuji, it is most important principle for brahmacharis. Some of us, we are also staying in ashram, brahmachari ashram. One is nichabat and dasabat. One should be act as a servant, menial servant of his spiritual master. Must, no excuse. Unless you do that, mind we cannot control. Brahmachari means what? Mind control. 75% cleared, only 25%. Mind control, he is through. So then, sevak bhav. We have to cultivate that seva bhav. I am the dasanudas. We say that, but in our mind, in our heart, it is not at all there. It is all boss. I am the boss, not them. So that takes long time. To cultivate that servitor culture in the heart, it takes long time. Many say they by just doing bhakti it happens. True, but then we have to do some effort for that also. So the more the rules we follow, then that will give us the protection. Otherwise, becoming a brahmachari is very difficult. Now, these cell phones and all nowadays. So then, charity, why charity? The dana, by giving charity, our heart gets purified. What do you mean by heart gets purified? Purified of what? Purified of the concept, it is mine. This money is mine. I am the owner. That greed is there, na? Lobha. I want more. So there are 3 great ways to hell. What is that? Kam, Krodh and Lobha. Lust, greed and anger. So this greed factor can be nullified by giving charity. That is why, and the best charity is giving the holy name and also this Gita Gyan, these 2 things. Okay. So like that Krishna describes many things, and the next verse, the 4, 5, 6, time is getting up. So next verse Krishna is going to describe how the person in goodness, he should be free from doership mentality. I am not the doer, Krishna is the doer, and he should do things even if he doesn't like, as a matter of duty. We don't like many services allotted by our spiritual master, but we have to do it for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna, not for our pleasure. Then we are in mode of passion. We are governed by the mind. So then the last thing is Krishna will tell what consciousness, what is the consciousness we are doing. That will decide the result. So then, as I said, Manisinaha means those who are in mode of goodness. They always like they do yajna out of duty, they do dana out of duty, and they do tapasya out of faith that I'll get purified. And also they have no material desires, no expectation if they do some sacrifice or they give some charity or they do some tapasya of body, mind and words. 3 ways we do tapasya, but they don't get any expectation out of, if I do tapasya, I'll get something. No. And it is exclusively for the pleasure of Krishna. So then, the dana especially has to be given in a particular time, place and person. This will Krishna will describe. Already in the 7th chapter he has already told. Right person, the donation has to be. You know Nrigi Maharaj, it comes in the 10th canto. He was the emperor of the entire world. And he has so many cows, he donated, it's as good as the number of sand particles in the entire sea beach. That many cows he donated. But there is a tussle between 2 Brahmanas. You know that. One cow got exchanged and then he has to go to hell. For that, Jamaraj gave him a curse to become a lizard. You know why he got delivered from lizard? How he got the darshan of Krishna face to face? I told this before also. Because while he was a king, there was a big merchant. He was from this Badikrashram in Himalaya. He is a devotee basically, but very rich man. So he came once. So he said, how can I do something? Or in other words, no. He was not rich, sorry. He is a pure devotee basically. This king had a rich, lot of wealth. Then he requested him, please build a big temple where I can keep Gita and Bhagavatam scriptures. And regularly we can take classes. And Nrigi Maharaj, he agreed. And he did it. Then out of pleasure, he gave him the blessings. I am giving you blessings. One day will come, you will see Krishna face to face. And it happened. This well is still there in Dwarka. If you go, it is near the temple, around 2 kilometers maybe. Then Krishna, his children could not do anything. Krishna's sons, they could not take out the lizard. And finally Krishna could, just by touching it, it came out and then he became his original form, Krimnriga. So many examples are there where by giving to the right person, right time, the benefits are, even one can go back to Godhead. What to speak? So nothing is a loss by Jagya, Dana, Tapa. That is why Krishna is recommending one should not give up this. So one should do all these things. So today just to summarize the things, maybe you can ask one question if you like or some comments. So we read that 3 things should not give up, and Manishinaha, those who are in mode of goodness, they don't give up this, and the reason is they get purified. And how they get purified, Krishna is telling, right? So this is the Krishna's opinion. Then Arjuna, he is going to act as per Krishna. That is the whole summary of today's class. So tomorrow onwards, you will see the 6th verse, the next speaker. Hare Krishna. Granthras Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. So I hope you understood everything, or anything you want to ask? No? Okay. So either you understood everything? Yes, Prabhuji? Anything? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.